Hey guys, it's time for a soulmate twin flame check-in reading. I don't know if you're excited or if you're feeling full of existential dread. I think the answer is yes. So, what is it that the viewer needs to know about themselves, but also this particular counterpart that they could be going through something right now? This doesn't necessarily have to be your twin flame. This could be another soulmate relationship and roles can be reversed. So let's get started. Have a look here. We got the Liberator, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing patterns and negative thoughts. Like whatever it is that the universe wants to talk to you about today, there is a real need to break free from toxic patterning because we've been getting a lot of messages about people from your past, habits, things that keep coming up to the surface that are keeping your vibration low. But after I go to cut, trickster, transcending convention, stuffiness, predictable behavior, manipulating others through duplicity. On your end of the energy, we got the child orphan, independence based on learning to go out alone, conquering fear of survival versus feelings of abandonment that stifle maturity, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. And then over here on the masculine side, we got the alchemist, showing up in the shadow. Misuse of power, knowledge that comes through a spiritual practice. Yikes. Transformation of base motives. Yeah, transformation of base motives and goals into wisdom. I really feel like whatever it is that the divine wants to talk to you guys about today, there's some kind of self-limiting belief that each of you have embodied and it's holding both of you back. I don't think you guys are holding each other back. There's something very introspective about the energy today. And it sounds like the universe really wants to talk about how we have these blind spots that each of you have that are making you, oh, okay, this is interesting. That could be making you on the feminine side repeating family patterns that need to go, while the masculine is repeating patterns of manipulation, trying to, in some ways, forcing things to work, even though it's outside of their vibration. So, if this sounds like your situation, you're more than welcome to stick around. If we haven't met yet, my name is High Priestess Berries, psychic, medium, and divine channeler, hoping to bring you a message. Now, always remember, my messages are candid, unscripted, but they are also timeless, so please tap into your instincts. Listen to your intuition. If there is anything that I talk about that doesn't make any sense, totally fine. Do not worry about it. This message may not be for you, but if it does resonate, please let me know by liking and sharing your experience in the comments below. So to get some comparison of what's going on between the two of you guys, I'm going to be splitting splitting the soul. Interesting. Because the whole point of a twin flame journey, we've heard it all before, and we will hear it again and again. This is all about the journey back to self. And if we have a twin flame counterpart, it's someone who externally is sort of like the worst, most obnoxious version of us. And often we can put ourselves in this bit of a tailspin of frustration because you know within the core of your being, they should know better. And it's frustrating if you're looking at this individual and your reaction is they should know better, but why aren't they getting it? So for the masculine side, there's a lot of defensiveness going on the feminine side. Seven of Pentacles. Like, I really feel like you guys are actually mirroring each other's timelines. Now, it's one of these things where I really think that you are on a higher vibrational timeline compared to the masculine. And when we're dealing with mirroring the timeline, it means you're doing the same thing, but your actions, reactions are different. There's something about you understanding how you're going about something is very similar to how the masculine's going about it, and that's difficult. Like the feminine side is about shadow work, the masculine side is about light work. And I really feel like, well, we'll start off on your side of the energy, divine feminine, because there's a conquering a need to survive, but also conquering a need to assume that you need somebody within your life in order to feel safe. that's only something that we can, I want to say conjure, because I see that. That's the only thing we can conjure up from within, compared to the masculine, where their life is completely out of vibration with where their soul is at. And they're really trying to force something to work. They're using their spiritual woo-woo magic to make something work when it's not supposed to. But the only reason they're doing that is because they think and assume they're doing the right thing. So let's focus here first. So I'm going to take the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups, wow. Come on, universe. 777. Like, that's going up an octave or almost a full octave. Almost there, but not quite. And I think a lot of you guys have been stuck trying to make the most of all of this time and energy, especially if you've been trying to pour all your time, pour all your resources into understanding why this is happening and even why you're still attached to it. There's the Nine of Pentacles. In the end of it, you are working towards your own sense of independence. Like, I think there's a need for you to actually forgive yourself. What do we got right here? We've got Ten of Swords, letting it go. Six of Wands. I think this came up in a reading quite recently. Like, the detachment and the letting go, like, that's how you're going to be able to find your particular victory, because some of you are still struggling with the idea of survival. And that's okay. Like, this is part of the journey. You've had to go at this alone, while the masculine has had to go at it battling an entire community. So it's like the battle of one versus the battle of many. What's going on right here? We got Strength, Knight of Cups, Empress, King of Pentacles, Judgment. Okay, and then we got the Three of Swords. So the universe has been trying to work with you in order to get you back into, I'm hearing contentment, but there's something that, like, your inner demons, something that you went through, there's some situation. It could have been because of this masculine or something that they were tied to. There was a massive blowback and it made you doubt your gifts. I think a few of you are actually still struggling with being angry, with being frustrated. It's sort of like one moment you're happy, fine, and content, and then the beast starts showing up and you start turning into something that you don't want to be. Sometimes when this happens, it could well up, and all of a sudden we take that on our pets. And of course, my dog decides to start barking right now. Yeah, I feel like I just had a breaking news interruption. Like, I really feel like you guys have been stuck in a past paradigm, and I feel like you guys are learning how to overcome some semblance of depression, especially if you have all these emotions that are randomly coming up to the surface, because we do have this Knight of Cups. I nearly said Knight of Pentacles. Like, there's been a lot of confusion going on within your energy, and there's something to kind of bear in mind. If you're saying pentacles but you see cups, or you see swords but you're thinking water, it's important to really anchor yourself and ground yourself in, because this masculine is really in your energy, but part of it is because you're inviting it in. But you're also inviting in the karma. There's some real frustration right now that the universe is trying to, it's not that the universe is frustrated at you. I feel like you're frustrated and the universe is trying to send you in help in order to help manage yourself, because you need to actually settle down, sit back, try not to be offended by the idea of being told you need to calm down. Your feelings are absolutely warranted. And I think a few of you guys are really struggling right now, like with your sense of self-worth and a little bit of purpose, because you guys are actually entering into a brand new timeline. Like, overall, there has been this societal level desire to just, it's time to shift gears. It's time to let go of the past. And I think a few of you have been stuck waiting for this masculine to show up with an apology, to show up and be the person who it is you feel like they can be. Then you can be this. But your logic is actually making you a little bit more depressed. And it's actually, there's an ask within here. We do have the King of Pentacles, and we also have the card of Judgment. There's an idea of safety that the universe is asking you to let go of. It's kind of like whether if it's safety within your emotions and this person violated it, or safety within the idea of money. Maybe you thought you were going to marry this person, but there's an illusion, and I think you know of it because you're going to be stuck in heartbreak you're going to be stuck in heartbreak for a very long time until you are able to forgive. And this isn't about forgiving the counterpart. I think some of this is learning how to forgive yourself. We'll get a little bit deeper into that. I want to get some contrast to see what the hell is up with masculine. Oh, I'm started shuffling again. Okay, I'm being told like, oh, now that you called out masculine, oh, we have to have a very different look at them, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's not as though, because we have the trickster at the base along with the alchemist, it's not as though this person they're not innocent. And I think some of you are frustrated because Two of Pentacles, Temperance, this person's so fucking imbalanced. Like, they're acting like they're balanced, but you don't even realize that they have like there's like an invisible prop. It's one of those magician tricks where, all of a sudden you take like, the girl and you show up to her side and she looks like she's floating in thin air. No, that's just a contraption that's hanging out behind her, giving the illusion of balance underneath there with the Temperance. Ten of Pentacles, like this is a confirmation that the masculine, they think they need to behave as though they are balanced despite their imbalance. And that's actually quite common. It's one of these things where, okay, fake it till you make it, or I can't show any kind of weakness, or this is just how you're supposed to do it. This masculine doesn't have any access to divine tools. And that's kind of part of the journey. You are being encouraged to access the divine tools. You're sort of like the orphan child, you're kind of on your own for a divine purpose, because I really feel like you're going to get to a point where you can start welcoming in a new community, welcoming in your soul purpose, and actually be able to pay it forward and help a lot of people, like whatever that means to you. But there's something about no longer, ooh, okay. If this is sort of like a career change, it's one of these things where you stop working for family, or stop treating everybody with a sad puppy story as though they should be family. This is no longer adopting people into your personal life and having healthier boundaries. Of all the things that, with the masculine, because I think it was the Seven of Wands that we saw with the masculine before I reshuffled. Ooh, the Moon. You need to put up a boundary on the energetic realm so that you stop inviting in beggars. You stop inviting in manipulators, and you stop inviting in people that would take your light, take your money, take your love, and just run with it. This is you overcoming a habit and a paradigm. Strength, the Moon for the masculine, and the Hanged One. There's something that the masculine is hiding from. It's not just divine feminine. Their heart chakra is really closed right now. And like, even when I said that my throat chakra is just suddenly closed up, the masculine doesn't know how to express themselves, mostly because they don't feel safe. They probably have like a bully dynamic, or, if they were male identifying, for example, and they had a father make fun of them for having emotions, or even if this person's female identifying, even if they had needs, like their family didn't give them any kind of emotional support to have them feel safe when it comes to expressing what it is that they need. So they've closed themselves off. And as a result, they've closed themselves off to the divine. On one hand, I can have a little bit of sympathy for this masculine. We got Eight of Cups, Hierophant, Three of Pentacles. Oh, that's kind of encouraging. Let's see. Seven of Pentacles. There's the other seven that I Freudian slipped earlier. Ace of Wands, Queen of Swords. So without you knowing, it's kind of these things. You'll never see this publicly posted. This is not something that the masculine would feel very comfortable about expressing. If you happen to be creeping on them, first of all, I'd say don't give them the attention, but you do you. It's totally your reality, and you're welcome to do whatever you want. But the masculine is trying to find some semblance of expression, and all of a sudden it's like, fucking YouTube. we can't show the lushy goodness right now, so cover up. And that's actually kind of in line with the divine masculine. I think the way that they lust for things is changing. Their sexuality is going through a bit of a shift, and even the way that they express themselves, there's something different. It sounds like the masculine, like, the Eight of Cups is about moving on to something that is more emotionally fulfilling, but I'm feeling a little bit hesitant. I almost tie this person to be over here. They are seeking advice. I think some of them, it's like going back to church, going back to synagogue, going back to the word of God. They're kind of revisiting what they were taught. And if this isn't literal religion, it's what their parents taught them. Because I've been picking up a lot lately on TikTok. The masculine really has to overcome some parental wounds. And the Hierophant can be about the card of marriage. It can also be a little bit about divorce. Well, we don't have justice here. I do have this Queen of Swords. This masculine has been struggling with the idea that they grew up with parents who really struggled with each other. Even if the parents chose to work it out, chose to go to therapy and stay together, and worse off, maybe they stay together for the sake of the kids, or even worse, they stay together for the sake of money. The masculine, at a young age, felt like they were responsible for making their parents happy. This is actually a very common psychological problem, like very, very fucking common. And we're kind of in this weird era within society where it's a lot easier to get a divorce. But if you go back 40 years or 80 years, every single decade has a bit of a different flavor as to the reason why people divorce. Can they get a divorce? How do you handle it? And whatever this was that your masculine has gone through and witnessed, again, their parents could still be together. They could be celebrating 40, 50 years together. But it's sort of like, well, we made it. It's like, well, okay, we come for this. We've come this far. Like, sure, whatever. Let's just make it work for each other's sake. But these parents don't like each other. They tolerate each other. They actually love each other, but they don't like each other. Like, love is infinite. I give a little bit of credit to these parents, but the masculine never actually took a healthy lesson from these parents. All they've done is copy and paste it. So they're dimming their light. They're hanging out with people that would please their parents and not please themselves. But that's why they're trying to force things to work. They actually do have some spiritual power to bring people together. Like, this masculine, I feel like when they were a child, they did something using their spiritual gifts that they subconsciously knew, like maybe it's making pancakes for the parents in the morning, or the kid decided to suddenly do chores, or maybe they got into singing and artwork and both of their parents were super pleased. Well, both of the parents were super pleased with the child. The kid took it as, oh great, mom and dad, they're totally happy now. And it put this kid into a habit of being a performer. As long as they perform for their parents like, good for you, kiddo. But if this goes decade after decade after decade and these parents don't have any insights, or they don't want to go deeper into their own personal situations, this is a classic case of focusing way too much on the children versus focusing on self, which, kind of makes sense. You've had to focus on yourself instead of maybe focusing on children. Whether, if there's any kind of guilt that some of you have, if you're parents out there, like, if you had to take a step back from your own children for your own spiritual enlightenment, yeah, there's a risk that your own physical child could resent you for it. But I can say from personal experience, you did the right thing, because if you're taking care of your own spiritual wellness, your kid eventually will see the wisdom and what it is that you've done. That's just a very special message for anyone who is a parent right now. But, on the masculine side, rather than performing for their own pleasure, they perform for their parents' pleasure. It's caused this nasty sacral chakra wound, and it's kind of kept kind of kept the cord, mama never really cut that cord from their kid, and it's a little bit of a problem both ways. What kind of guidance can I get for the divine feminine at this time? Oh, let's get the Twin Flame Ascension. Twin Flame Ascension deck. Remember your identity. You can do it. Like you're being asked right now, don't resent the journey that you are on. Because this masculine, they have a lot of backlog introspection that they need to do within themselves, and you can't be involved with it. But I feel like they are getting some of the pieces of the picture, but it's a little bit ugly. Like, I don't think they need an I told you so. I don't think that would be very beneficial to the divine masculine at this time. And that's probably why they could be avoidant. If you're having minimal to no contact with this individual and you still keep picking up on their bullshit, it's still important for you to go back to source to help clear that out. Because some of you are struggling with your masculine draining your resources. You know, I have been posting some videos on my Bloom Into It channel, which is my Reiki channel, which will help you on a subconscious level learn how to heal, forgive, walk away from jealous energies. There's all kinds of lovely little tools available to you there. But when you're in positive flow, this person can't drain you. They're overcommitted to a karmic situation that's draining them. Don't feel guilty that you need to cut the cord from them. And yes, twin flames, you can't cut the cord. I'm talking about a karmic cord, dark entity energies. There has been something between you two that has been siphoning each other. And this masculine needs an incentive to realize that their life force is being drained by this situation. This person, in some cases, they're dealing with family illness, and the family illness only began when they started entertaining their karmic person. This masculine lowered their vibration so much to please somebody, but it was all in the name of pleasing a parent, pleasing a paradigm, because they thought that was the right thing to do. So at the base over here, we have higher conscious awareness. Oh, cool. So let's see here. More awareness, crystal clear vision, the electric, creative expression, past life healing. Okay. Okay. Try not to knock that over. Like, it's going to be very important that you work on clearing out your third eye. There's something about the way that you have been perceiving this particular situation that's distorting your sense of reality. It is very important that you don't pay attention to what's going on physically. This masculine is a performer, and they know how to make things look good on the surface. Where did they learn it from? They learned it from their parents. They learned it from society. They learned it from religion where that applies. It's going to be important for you to actually trust and believe that your heart was correct on this, because the more you deny your emotions, the more this depression that turns you from being frail into an angry monster, like that needs to be balanced out, because right now the masculine is actually going through a sacral chakra awakening. So there's third eye on your end, but they're dealing with stuff going on in the sacral chakra. And that's impacting their sexuality. That's impacting their creative pursuits. And because of the sacral chakra, that's why the parental issues are showing up at this time. I feel like for some of you, maybe they don't have a parent, or they feel, yeah, how do I phrase that in a way that's going to make sense? It's not all the parents. It's not only the parents, but it is parental figures. This could be a godparent, a grandparent. So if the parent idea doesn't apply, because you intuitively know that's the case, place the energy with where it makes sense. Someone that the masculine really looked up to, someone that the masculine worshipped and admired, and you'll be able to link up this message in a more thoughtful way. This is you having some creative expression. You're not manipulating energy by forcing it into something. Oh, wait. Wow, backwards. You're not doing the thing where you're forcing a narrative. Now, it's very difficult being in the masculine's energy right now. So that's why you need to get crystal clear vision on what's going on. In many ways, you looking at the masculine does not like really help you. I'm sitting here between two worlds, one foot in the masculine, one foot in the feminine. There's still a lot of chaos, but that's because it sounds like you guys both have some past life healing to do. Whether if you guys have a mutual past life that needs to be concluded, I really feel like you are transmuting different karma from different societal templates. You know, the idea of having to go at it solo versus having to go at it with a community, because there's something that the masculine has yet to figure out is how do you go against an entire community and feel safe that if they get annexed or excommunicated or kicked out of the tribe, there's something about the fear of being alienated that they need to work out. But you're being asked to consider what kind of people you want to align to. What kind of vision do you have for yourself, Divine Feminine? You're the one who's supposed to be making the decisions for yourself. It's going to be important to take a higher step view as to what's going on. Step away from what it is that this person is doing. Don't focus on them. In a lot of ways, when you focus on them, it creates a feedback loop. It confuses them and it confuses you. Your job is to connect to source, access your higher attuned gifts. Really focus on your third eye and get clear about what you want. Write that shit down. The masculine has to learn how to re-manifest things back into their reality without worrying about the karma attached to it. But as you guys are able to conquer, this is healing you guys in your past life. Wow. Okay. That was pretty intense, but I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you need any kind of support, I do provide in-depth tarot readings so we can tap into the more specifics as to what your masculine could be going through. I also provide one-on-one healing sessions, especially if you need some Reiki support on your particular journey. But otherwise, when I see you guys at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries.